Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into it. The early slate for the college football Saturday that we have in week one. I'm going to be getting into a lot of the 12 o'clock games. There may be a couple 12:30s and ones mixed into this, but there's going to be 4 games in specific that we're going to be talking about. I'll give you guys my 4 best plays within those games. Let's look for some opportunities here. We had a good start Thursday and then Friday yesterday. Yes, that bad beat within the late game within Stanford and TCU, taking us over the total. But hey, that's okay. We live to bet another day, and let's get into it because we have a lot of picks we're going to be giving out here on the channel. And I think where I settled at for college football is I'm going to have an early game video breakdown where I give you my picks from the early window, kind of like a 3:30, 4 o'clock afternoon, that SEC hour. We're going to kind of have those games broken down in a category, and then kind of the prime time later slots that we're going to have on every single Saturday. So that's kind of how I'm looking at doing it. I can do 3 basic videos where I give you guys kind of the games that I'm getting into. It's just impossible here to break down each and every game. And quite frankly, you get a little paralysis by analysis if you're trying to analyze and get into every spot. You pick the games and you get the games on your radar that you want to bet, that you focus in on, and then that's where we attack. But within this, I want to tell you guys, we are Labor Day weekend. We are away visiting family. I'm currently in an Airbnb lodge up in the North Carolina mountains. I'll leave out the city. We're very close to Tennessee, just to let you guys know. So for all you guys tracking me and, just kidding. But it's kind of funny to talk about because it's going to be a fun night where I'm going to send a picture on the Discord or over on X where crazy view. It's a really nice part of the world here in North Carolina, and there's a couple kind of really interesting people that live in this neighborhood. So curious who we're going to see later on. But anyways, let's get into the picks. I know you guys don't like to hear me ramble. It's all about the picks, and I don't blame you. I don't like listening to myself either. But let's get into some winners here. Before we do, though, please, if you haven't done so, this is where I'd like for you guys all subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and let me know what you guys are betting down below in the comments. Feel free to jump on over to the Discord page, totally free, and become a TBM channel member today. Links down below, okay? We don't charge for picks here in the channel and never will, all right? So let's get down into it. We can look into the first couple games on the Odds Jam. And the one that we have kind of keyed in on will be this Georgia-Clemson game, the noon kick, ABC. We look at this rematch from a couple years ago, and it depends what kind of side of the coin and the argument you're going to get on, okay? Me personally, I'm a Dabo Swinney guy. I like Dabo. A lot of people don't, and that's okay. That's the best thing about America or the world, for that matter, if you're in a good part of the globe. You can have free will. You can make your own decisions. He kind of has that holier art thou perception that rubs people, I think, a lot the wrong way. A lot of hypocrites will think he's a hypocrite. Okay, and that's kind of where I think you're just not mixing football. The guy's a great family man. He's a great Christian. He was a great player. He's a national champion, coach of the year. Really sticks up for his guys. And, I personally would not want to have the job of being a Division I college football head coach. That would be an early death sentence for me personally. So, I feel for everybody. I want everybody to do well. I'm rooting for Clemson kind of just as a whole, okay? And I'm not a Clemson fan. Full disclosure, I've been on the other side of that Clemson argument where they've come out victorious. And, I've had every reason in the book to hate that. But the whole reason why I'm getting down this road is don't let your personal feelings and emotions kind of sway you off of the right side of a bet, okay? That's basically what I was trying to say, is don't be emotional. Cheers. Sorry, a little too much coffee, so I do ramble from time to time. Just bear with me. I swear we'll get to the goods, all right? But Georgia is the storyline here. 2 running backs suspended, possibly, and then we get into this game. How much of a message is Kirby Smart going to send to his kids? This game will be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so a stadium that both of these programs are familiar with from their postseason experience and bowl history. But also, this is something where all eyes are going to be on both of these teams. We're not going to have to worry about any home field disadvantages. Clemson's going to travel well. Georgia's going to be there in Groves. I think, though, where we have to lend to in this game is the under 49, okay? And you can take it a little bit. Minus 110, I found it in some spot. And I think that this one comes down to just a couple key elements here, okay? Cade Klubnik, I'm not a fan of his. I haven't really bought into that whole five-star mantra. And, you know, it's kind of hilarious. I had a parlay live. I think it was his freshman year, and it was the North Carolina Clemson game, and I think it was like the best game he played as a college player. Needed North Carolina to cover, I think, a 14.5, and it would have won like $15,000. Kind of like a home run parlay bet I made like at an airport. And so that's kind of my Cade Klubnik story. So shout out to you. Congrats on the NIL money. Sell you my 15 grand. Just kidding. Anyways, but we look into this. Georgia, 11.5. You can find 10s out there. If you go offshore, you can find 10s in the market. I know that's crazy, but it's truly there. So don't forget about that key number. 10 and kind of 11 would be 50% of where we need to be. But I think we need to talk a little bit more about the line movement in this game. And I'm not a statistics guy. I think statistics are a little overblown. These are 18 to 21-year-olds. Yeah, in pros we can find trends, but within the college ranks, not so fast. This is a coaching game. I think that dominates. And yeah, there's a little things we can incorporate, but especially with week one, you've had all summer to prepare for your week one opponent, right? The second half of summer camp, Clemson's starting to install their game plan again to take on Georgia. Okay, so you know, being ready is kind of not the equation. And then when you play with these two programs at this level, I think it becomes more of chess, not checkers. So that's kind of where I'm going to lead to my next bet, where we do like the under 49. Okay, we do like the under 49. I took that at minus 110. Leaves the door open for for a push there as well on that key number of 49. But I just go back to the matchup where it was 10-3. Like I said, I think it was a defensive touchdown even. So I really do like the fact that we can get 49 within this game. Shop around, find that best number available. That's why we use OddsJam. If you want to get involved with OddsJam, link up above in that banner. It's TBM, 35% off your first month or annual plan. There will be a link down below in the description. Okay. But this is kind of where I'm at, and I do like Georgia. If you can find that minus 10, I know it's far, far away, but that's kind of where we're at in terms of taking that. I think that Georgia wins this game. The only reason I'm not jumping on it, and we're seeing the number get bet up a little bit, but I'm not jumping on it because I do think there's a chance that this is just so low scoring of a game. Now, this is an outside chance. This could be so low scoring of a game that we just don't even, you know, two scores could cover a 10.5 number, okay? So that's kind of where I'm at. I do think Georgia rolls. I think this one is one of those games that you're letting some prowess to kind of convolute your thought process. Georgia rolls. They return way many starters. Cade Klubnik, not buying it. Prove it on the field. Lock it in. Under 49, as well as a strong lean towards Georgia to win by, to cover. I like them all the way up to 13. Okay, so I think 13 and above, we're good. If you want to take that 14, that's a whole different story, but you can find 10s in the market. So a little bit of a same-game teaser opportunity if you're able to do that in your jurisdiction. A little same-game teaser action would not kill anybody within that under and taking Georgia down below a touchdown. So that's kind of what I have as a best bet for the first game. But then let's get in a little deeper into the board where we talk about kind of the other game that we're going to be keyed in on is Illinois State and Iowa. Okay, we all know kind of what goes on with the likes of Iowa. I think this is something where we look into the Kirk Ferentz story, him not being there. Iowa can't score the football, okay? And Illinois State, they kind of have that same disease. I think 41.5 is just way, way too high. I think it is. I truly do. I think week one there's going to be some jitters. So I was able to take a number at 41.5 at minus 120. I know we're not at that 42, so we do miss out on that key number. But I just love taking Iowa under 41.5 for that full game. I don't think that Illinois State will get into... excuse me. I don't think that Illinois State will get into that territory where they even push this game close to 40. I think that we're looking at a 24-7 kind of matchup, 24-10, 27-10. I think that 40 might be a little bit too high. Maybe a little week one kind of overestimation of where Illinois State will be. So I'm taking the under in Illinois State and Iowa. Okay, and then the next game on the card that I do want to talk about, this will be UConn, okay? With what UConn's able to do, this is a game that I just think it's way too many points. I think this will be a lower scoring game as well. And for some reason, we are looking at a Maryland team here. You can see 19 here with Bookmaker, but FanDuel still offering UConn plus 20.5. I'd love to been able to get that 21 out there, but this is something where we break this game down a little bit more, and you can kind of go into the storylines. And I know it's the whole Big Ten narrative and what we have going on, and I like Maryland scoring the football, but this is kind of something where we've seen the quarterback be the biggest issue for both of these teams, okay? I think that we look into where Maryland's going to be, okay? We all know that they're going to try to destroy through the air Connecticut. Also, they really haven't found any solidified member of the team that wants to play quarterback either, okay? But Jim Moore going there for UConn, I think this is where they made a bowl game last year. That's a huge kind of stepping stone for that program, a huge milestone. But this is within the season opener for Maryland. I think that they're going to try to get up fast. We know how Mike Locksley coaches, and this is something where I just truly like UConn in this spot. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how the dust settles, but it would be a best bet. Probably the least, I would say, confident of these picks that I'm giving out, but I do like the UConn Huskies getting taking 20.5 here as a underdog, okay? So that would be my third pick, and then the last pick of the early slate in college football is Penn State and West Virginia. This game opened up at 12, okay, in favor of the Nittany Lions, and now bet down to 7.5. We're getting a lot of steam on the Mountaineers, and this is interesting because we are seeing this total rise, and that's kind of where I was at. I was able to bet a 49, minus 127 on DraftKings. Okay, a couple storylines to talk about. Drew Allar, we know how much of the hot seat James Franklin is on. We look at what's going on with West Virginia as well. I know this isn't kind of the old school Dana Homerson led offense, but I do think West Virginia, this is a huge rivalry for those of you that do not live in this part of the country. It's bigger than you would think. It's not necessarily Ohio State, Michigan, but this is, I think, one of the most understated rivalries. If you ever try crossing into West Virginia from Pennsylvania, it gets a little rocky on that borderline. I can actually share with you guys some stories, too, about West Virginia into Virginia. So this game will be played in West Virginia. Will be played in Morgantown. Personally, saw a couch lit on fire back in my heyday, back in college when I was traveling down there. So West Virginia is a very interesting spot to play. I know it's not going to be a whiteout like we'll get in Happy Valley, but this is a game where I like the over, okay? I'm just going to tell you straight up, 49 minus 127. We took that on DraftKings. I think that you couple that with hot seat, Drew Allar, I do like him. I just think that they got to throw the football. You look at average yards per attempt. He does not throw the ball. He can stretch the ball. They just won't let him have the reins. Okay, Penn State wants to run the football all the way back to Saquon Barkley days. I mean, they have an identity. This is just something where I think that you need to start opening it up. You need to start turning over the keys to the castle, or you're going to have to look for another castle. I think that James Franklin, quite frankly, is up against it. I think that recruiting within Pennsylvania is a little different. It's kind of tough. Especially when you have to go up against the Ohio States, Michigans, and Notre Dames of the world in the Midwest. And you're kind of on that, are we actually, part of the Atlantic side of the country, or are we part of the Midwest? You get the DMV from Washington, so there's a lot of things to incorporate, but this game comes down to a couple things. I think that you look at team totals. That's kind of what I want to allude to as well. We can look into this. You could see right now that 49, you can find minus 127, by the way, still as I'm recording. But you look at team totals, and this is kind of where you're at. 28.5 for Penn State, 20.5 for West Virginia. So you can do the math, 49, that's how we got there. If you believe both of those teams go over. I think that Penn State's going to have a little coming out party. They put a lot of effort into kind of revitalizing what they're going to be doing on offense, okay? I think we all know that. I talked about it, and it's the same old song and dance. They brought in Kansas's offensive coordinator as well. So with the new OC approach that Penn State's going to be taking, if you watch Kansas football, they put up some points, and they put up some points fast. I don't know if Drew Allar has that mobility to run that style of offense that Kansas was able to run in years prior, but I do think that he's a great offensive mind. I look for Penn State to score in this game. I love the buyback on West Virginia. I'm really predicting a back-and-forth game. So we're going to go over the 49. And if I did give you a lean on this side of the matchup, this would be in terms of the Mountaineers. I like the Mountaineers with the points. I do. I just don't think that we are at a point right now where it's bettable. Okay, I like them over 10, and now as we get closer down to 7 in that reverse line movement, it gives way to the narrative that, okay, we're seeing this number bet down, it's out of control. So I do think that we're going to see a nice back and forth matchup here in Morgantown. So that'll wrap it up. Here are my best bets. I'm going to give you guys kind of a look into my final plays, and forgive me, I'm all jacked up. Just coffee and just excited. I'm a Notre Dame fan at heart, so what's coming in store this evening? The whole season's on the line. The whole season's on the line. So I'm fired up. I hope you guys are fired up too. Texas A&M supposed to be at that game, but hey, we're gonna have an awesome time, awesome evening. Let's cash some tickets. These are my best bets. Like I said, the Georgia under and the -10. Not scared of a same-game teaser in that spot. So that's where I'm at. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe down below if you have not already done so. And we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.